Number two, you know the public charge rule, right? So if anybody has taken, it depends on what you qualify, but if you have taken money from the federal government, say cash or any other type of stuff, that will go against you for getting your green card. And the question, the $1 million question, let's say that you overstayed your visa. Let's say that you overstayed your visa and ICE comes knocking on your door. Can ICE open your door and get into your house? Okay. Don't be so fast in answering. Can ICE come into your house if you overstayed your visa? Okay, so it depends. The answer is it depends. It depends on number one if they have a warrant. Now be careful because ICE gives you 3 types of documents. 2 of those are not worth the paper they're on to open your car or your house. But one of them is, and in fact, you would have to open the door. The way it is, you'll notice, it's really simple. You'll see in big words, United States District Court. United States District Court. If you see those words, that's a warrant. But the warrant has to be valid. So be careful because ICE does things really interesting. So they will give you a warrant and it has not a signature. It's not valid. Number 2, they will give you a warrant but it has the wrong address. So let's say this is 6911 and they put 6911A. So that little difference, even that little letter A is not good. That warrant is not good. The warrant has to be perfect. Number 3, date. They will give you a document that's dated in the future. If you have a contract, if you have a document and it's dated in the future, that document is not good, right? Because we don't live in the future, we live in the now. And number 4, the signature, right? So it has to be signed. Now here's what happens. Let me give you a little story, and with this I'll end really quick. There's a knock on the door, and a little baby opens the door. ICE comes in and takes everybody, grabs everybody. We go to the court, and we ask the judge, we say, Your Honor, it was a minor that opened the door. The judge says, I don't know. I don't know if the father's told the baby to open the door or not. There's no way that we would know, right? So at that point, as long as the door is open, they can go in. Now remember, if ICE has a document that does not say U.S. District Court, they cannot force you to open the door in your car or in your house. Now, even if they have the correct document, where would you think that the warrant would not work? Anybody? Everybody? Anybody? Okay, at an embassy, just in case. You can have all the military, or everybody, nobody can go into the embassy. So even if they have the warrant with the correct name, the correct address and everything, if it's in the embassy, they cannot touch that embassy. It has to come from an order from the Minister of Foreign Affairs from that country, from the Minister of Foreign Affairs to the ambassador, and the ambassador to whatever embassy or consulate. So that's one. Number 2, if you are stopped, this is happening now, if you are stopped by an agent telling you get out of your car, you have to ask for ID. Say, respectfully. You don't need to fight. You just ask respectfully. Can I see your ID? If they say no, then you don't get out of your car. Because what ICE does is, since you know that ICE is going to take you and deport you, they don't tell you that they're ICE. They just tell you we're law enforcement. No, they have to be a police. ICE is not police. Okay? So when they tell you that, and they ask you like, what's your name? You don't have to give names. You don't have to get any information. Number 2, when you're stopped by police, you never have to. They ask you, do you know the reason that I stopped you? That's a tricky question. Never answer that question. The same thing ICE will do to you. You know why we're here? Never answer that question. You just say, with due respect, your officer, I don't mean to be rude, but I am not going to answer any questions. So anyway, guys, the question is, first raffle. You see, now comes the raffle. First raffle. The answer is, the question is, can ICE get into your house and then you have a free consultation if you want? That's the first free one. If ICE can come into your house, if you can give me the answer to that, I'll be walking around. If you give me the answer to that one, I will give you a free consultation. You save $200 off of the consultation, okay? So that's the question. Can ICE come into your house? And you got to explain that answer. And by the way, I want to thank, and I had my list, I don't know when I did it. I want to thank all the vendors. I want to thank the embassy. All these graphics that you see here, We're done by Natima, so she's really good at that. Working really hard. I really appreciate that. Her friends. Our music, our sound system, and forgive me, Natima gave me your name and I just don't know your. It's how do you pronounce the name? Tom. Tom. Oh, easy. Okay, so your music to Mr. Tom. We thank Mr. Tom. And all of our vendors, again, to our vendors, thank you so much to our vendors. Again, we could not do this without you. If the vendors would not come, there's no way to do this. Remember, children are in your hands. If you don't have the children, if you don't help, if you don't join us, we cannot help the children because alone we cannot do everything, right? So anyway, we appreciate it again. Thank you for coming, and we'll be back in a few minutes. Thank you so much.